Hey, 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 hey. Just checking some things out. So here's some music for ambiance. Okay. We gotta make
Make sure God voice is working, okay? We're making sure. And then I'll let you in. 1 second. Yes, God voice is working. Okay.
Hey there. Hold on, I wrote a script. It's literally this this big and this obvious. Okay. So it says, "Hey there, fellow weird ass black sheep. I am your personal super stoned sage, Saint Nikki Gay Great, and this is the party pen." Yeah. Wiggle. So, what we are doing here, we are reading God's unofficial biography, Das Bible. We are having good time. We are towards the middle of Genesis, I think. Genesis. We're like almost towards the end of Genesis. It's good time. We are where Joseph was sold into slavery. Well, slavery. He became a slave to the Egyptians, and um then his master's wife tried to do the forcible naughty thing to him and then blamed him and was thrown in jail. He was thrown in jail, false reporting and whatnot. Me Too before Me Too. Anyway, there was a thing and he was falsely accused. But then the Pharaoh had a dream and there was a famine. And then Joe is in charge of the famine. And now he met his brothers because there was a dream. And his brothers are like, fuck you, and sold him into slavery. And then now he's in charge of their food. And they've come to him twice to buy food. But he's forced them to bring back their younger brother, his actual full brother, not his half brother, his full brother. So, anyway, I want to tell you, come on in. I have everything we need to have good time. I have cannabis. I I do have cigarettes, but they're in the other room. That was a butt. That was gross. But anyway, I have those too. But I have cigarettes and I have a fresh pot of keep other people alive juice. Yeah, good time. Oh, and I also have snacks. I have chips. So that is another C. Oh, and I have cat beds and canine space. I had all that shit. Anyway, say hello if you're here. Say, uh, say hello if you're here. Press subscribe if you're gonna stay, and press like if you're gonna leave. Yeah, that's a good time. Chat rules are don't be a party pooper. We have a good time. Mm-hmm. And we are going on to chapter 44 of Genesis. I was trying to wait for a couple of people to come in because I know my cousin, Miss Mud Duck, maybe our drunken wizard will show up. I like him, them. I think it's more than one person. They always refer to themselves as they, so I think it might be two people. But anyway, I like that guy. He's a drunken wizard. And my cousin might show up. He's a weirdo. And Miss Muddy might show up. She's awesome. Okay. Oh, and Fred is floating around somewhere, he just refuses to talk. But he does float around places. He is my animals' best friends, especially my raccoons. They absolutely love him because he feeds them. And my cats too. You know what? My cats love him too because he feeds them occasionally. It was really fun. But anyway, we're in chapter 44. And he commanded the steward. Okay, so this is after he's given Benjamin like 5 times the amount of food. Hold on, this is stupid. Okay, so he's given him 5 times the amount of food and they're about to leave. So Joe tells his guy, give them all their stuff and give them everything they can carry. And also put my silver cup and the youngest and his grain money. So he did according to the word that Joe had spoken. As soon as the morning dawned and the men were sent away and their donkeys, when they had gone out of the city and were not yet far off, Joe said, go follow them. And when you overtake them, say to them, why have you repaid evil for good? Is not this the one from which my Lord drinks, with which he indeed practices divination? You have done evil in doing. Dun, dun, dun. So he set him up. Now remember, in Joe's dream earlier, they bowed to him twice. Okay, he had 2 dreams. And they've come and bowed to him. One time already, I think. When they came back, they were like, ugh. They did the face thing. So let's see. So he overtook them and he spoke to them these same words. And they said, why does my Lord say these words? Far be it from us that your servants should do such a thing. Look, we brought back to you from the land of Canaan the money which we had found in the mouth of our sacks. Now, then, could we steal silver or gold from the house? Are you kidding? With whomever your servant is found, let him die, and we also will be slaves. Welcome, press like, come in, have a seat. I have coffee and cigarettes, everything. Have a seat. I also have some weed if you want some. Grab a coffee and have a seat. I got a chair with their name on it right there. Right there. Your name. Okay. Now he said, also, let it be according to your words. He with whom it is found will be my slave, and you shall be blameless. Then each man speedily let down his sack, and each opened his sack. So he searched, and he began with the oldest and left off with the youngest. And the cup was found in Benjamin's sack. Then they got naked, and each man loaded his donkey and returned to the city. Dun, dun, dun. So Judah and his brothers came to Joe's house, and he was still there. And they did the face thing. And Joe said, what deed is this you have done? Did you not know that such a man as I can certainly practice divinations? I don't know what that means. Then Judah said, what shall we say? What shall we speak? Or how can we clear ourselves? God has found out the iniquity of your servants. Here we are, my Lord's slaves, both we and he also with whom the cup was found. But he said, far be it from me that I should do so. The man whose hand the cup was found shall be my slave. And as for you, go to peace with your daddy. Then Judah came near and said, "Oh, no, 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 no. No, I need to tell you something. My dad will flip McNuggets over this one because the other one, it was a thing. And I didn't know he was a klepto or I wouldn't even brought him. But take me instead. I know more. Yeah, take me instead." Okay. Okay. And plus, you told us that you needed to see him because we were spies. So, and it turns out he's a klepto. I mean, indirectly, it's your fault. You're to blame for this. I learned this in the beginning of Genesis from Adam. He indirectly blamed God. So I'm indirectly blaming you. It's your fault. Ah, man, that is so true, though. Adam literally blamed God. He did. He literally, he said, "It's your fault. It's your fault. You gave me the woman." And she did this thing. You knew it, probably. Everybody said you knew. So I'm pretty sure you set us up, big guy. But whatever. So Judah is saying this to Joe right now. Indirectly, this your fault. Nobody knew he was a klepto. He's never been anywhere. Okay. You use a lot of words to say that. Um, Now, when I come to my father and doesn't have the lad with us, his life is my dad's life. If something happens to him, something happens to my dad. It's an umbilical thing. I'm not exactly sure, but if one dies, the other dies. Okay. And plus, like, I took an oath for his well being. So also, I'm entrapped in this, so just take me as a slave instead because I mean, I'm either gonna die. I would prefer to be a slave, you know. Okay. So then Joe took a second and he wrote chapter 45. So we're going to chapter 45. Okay. Then Joseph could not restrain himself before all those who stood by. So they did do the face thing to him twice. I thought they did it the first time and then they did it the second time. Yeah, so his dream came true and nobody even noticed that. I've never heard that anywhere. But anyway, Joe could not restrain himself before all those who stood by him. And he cried out, "Make everyone go from me." So no one stood with him, while Joe made himself known to his brothers. And he said, "Ha ha, you bowed to me twice, fuckers." That's not what he said. He cried. And the Egyptians and the house of Pharaoh heard it. Then Joseph said to his brothers, "I'm Joe. How's my dad?" And they're like, "Yeah, he's good. He's good. He has a good time." And then Joe said to his brothers, "Please come near me." Then he said, "I am Joseph, your brother, who you sold to Egypt." You bowed to me twice, motherfuckers. Take that. That's not what he said. He said, But now do not therefore be grieved or angry because you sold me, because I'm the fucking man. And you bowed to me twice, just like my dream, motherfucker. That's not what he said. Okay. And God has made me a father to Pharaoh, and a lord of all his house, and a ruler throughout the land of Egypt. Hurry and go up to my father and say, thus says your son Joe, God has made me Lord of Egypt. Come to me, do not tarry. You shall dwell in the land of Goshen, and you shall be near to me, you and your children, your children's children, all of your shit, and I will provide for you, lest you and your household and all that you have come to poverty, for there are still 5 years of famine. So Joe's like, tell dad to come here because, you know, I win, so I'll feed all of you. Get them back, Joe. Get them back. They don't deserve your niceness. Anyway. And behold, your eyes and the eyes of your brother. Behold, your eyes and the eyes of Ben see that it is my mouth that speaks to you. So you shall tell my father of all my glory in Egypt, and all of you that you have seen, you shall hurry and bring my father here. Then he fell on his brother Ben and wept, and Ben wept on his neck. Moreover, he kissed all his brothers and wept over them. And after that, his brothers talked with him, probably apologizing like a motherfucker, telling him his dream was right. Now, the report of it was heard in Pharaoh's house, saying, Joe's brothers have come. So it pleased Pharaoh and all his servants well. And Pharaoh said to Joe, say to your brothers, do this, load your animals and depart. Go to the land of Canaan. Bring your father and your households and come to me, and I will give you the best in the land of Egypt, and you will eat the fat of the land. Now, you are commanded to do this. Take carts out of Egypt for your little ones and your wives. Bring your father and come. Also, do not be concerned about your goods, for the best of the land is yours. Then the sons of Israel did so, and Joe gave them carts according to what Pharaoh said. And then he sent to his father these things: 10 donkeys loaded with the good things of Egypt, 10 female donkeys loaded with grain, bread, and food for his father for the journey. So he sent his brothers away, and they departed. And he said to them, see that you do not become troubled along the way. And then they went out of Egypt and came to Canaan, to Jacob their father. And they told him, saying, Joe is definitely still alive, and he is governor over the land. And Jacob's heart stood still because it did not believe them. But when they told him all the words that Joe said, when he saw the carts Joe sent, the spirit of Jacob their father revived. And then he said, it is enough. Joe, my son, is still alive. I will go and see him before I die. Before I die. Well, everybody done up and left. Ugh. Oh, man. We're literally almost done. That's interesting. Man. Okay. Mm. We're almost done. Okay. So Israel took his journey with all that he had and came to Beersheba and offered sacrifices to the God of Isaac. We don't know the sacrifice rules or how they even sacrifice or what they sacrifice. We're not exactly sure. Now, me and my other personality are not exactly sure what they're sacrificing or why. I don't know ancient sacrifices other than, virgins to the sun god and shit. Now it's greenbacks to the sun god. It's weird. Okay. Then God spoke to Israel in visions in the night and said,
Jake! Jake! I am God, the God of your father. Do not fear to go to Egypt, for I will make you a great nation there. It's going to be some shit. I will go down with you to Egypt, and I will surely bring you up again. This will be a good time, but don't worry. And Joe will put his hand on your eyes. It'll be a good time.
Then Jacob arose from Beersheba, and the vampires carried their father Jacob. Oh, never mind. The sons of Israel, Jake's kids, carried their father Jake, their little ones and their wives in the carts which Pharaoh sent to carry them. So they took their livestock, their goods which they had acquired in the land of Canaan, and went to Egypt, and Jacob and all his descendants with him. Dun, dun, dun. His sons, his daughters, all of his descendants he brought with him. Oh my God. There's so many fucking names. Mm, 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 da, 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 da. Okay. Okay, so 46 is names. Okay. Okay. So, verse 26 of chapter 46 says, all the persons who went with Jacob to Egypt, who came from his body, besides Jacob's sons' wives, were 66 people. And the sons of Joseph who were born to him were 2. All the persons of the house of Jacob who went to Egypt were 70 total. Okay. Then he sent Judah. Ow. Then he sent Judah before to Joe to point out before him the way to Goshen. And they came to the land of Goshen. So Joe made ready his chariot and went to Goshen to meet his father. And he presented himself to him and fell on his neck and wept on his neck a good while. And Israel said to Joseph, let me die since I have seen your face, because you are still alive. Then Joe said to his brothers and his father's household, I will go up and tell Pharaoh and say to him, my brothers and those of my father's house who were in the land of Canaan have come to me, and the men are shepherds, for their occupation has been to feed livestock. and they have brought their flocks, their herds, and all that they have. So it shall be when Pharaoh calls you and says, what do? You say, you deal with animals and stuff, and you have since birth. So you may dwell in the land of Goshen, for every shepherd is an abomination to the Egyptians. So here's a way to keep you separated from these people. You do animal things. Okay. It's crazy. Okay. Chapter 47. Then Joe went and told Pharaoh and said, my father and my brothers, their flocks, their herds, everything they have is here, and they are at Goshen. So he took 5 men from among his brothers and presented them to Pharaoh. And then Pharaoh asked them, and they said, we're shepherds, all of us. And they said to Pharaoh, we have come to dwell in the land because your servants have no pasture for their flocks, for the famine is severe in the land. Now, let your servants dwell in the land of Goshen. And then Pharaoh spoke to Joe, saying, your father and your brothers came. Have your father and your brothers dwell in the best. Let them dwell in Goshen. And if you know any competent men among them, make them chief shepherdmen, herdsmen over my livestock. Then Joe brought his father and set him before Pharaoh. And Jacob blessed Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said, how old are you? And he said, the days of the year of my pilgrimage are 130. Few and evil have been the years of my life, and they have not attained to the days of the years of my life. What? Wait. Then Jacob said to Pharaoh, the days of the years of my pilgrimage are 130 years. Few and evil have been the days of the years of my life, and they have not attained to the days of the years of the life of my father and the days of their pilgrimage. So Jake blessed the Pharaoh and left. And then Joe situated his father and his brothers and gave them possession in the land of Egypt and the land of Ram Rameses. Rameses. Ramses. Rameses. I don't know. Then Joe provided his father and his brothers and all the households with bread according to the number of their families. Now, there was no bread in all the land, for the famine was very severe, so that the land of Egypt and Canaan languished because of the famine. And Joe gathered up all the money that was found in the land of Egypt and Canaan for the grain which they bought. And Joe brought the money into Pharaoh's house. So when the money failed in the land of Egypt, he literally took everything from these people. Look, he took everything. Give me your livestock and I'll give you bread. And then they said the next year, Uh, we have nothing left in the sight of our. Wait, hold on. Give your livestock. Yep. So the people gave their livestock in exchange for bread. When that year ended, they came and said, "Look, we don't have nothing. Look, you have everything. So there's nothing left. Why should we die uh, before your very eyes, both us and our land? Buy us and our land for bread, and we and our land will be servants of Pharaoh. Give us seed that we may live and not die, and that the land might not be desolate." Then Joseph bought all the land of Egypt for Pharaoh, for every man of the Egyptians sold his field because of the famine. So the land became Pharaoh's. And as for the people, he moved them into the cities, from one end of the borders of Egypt to the other. Only the land of the priests he did not buy, for the priests had rations allotted to them by Pharaoh. So did they have Levite cities? Okay. They had Levite cities before there's a such fucking thing as a Levite city. Interesting, very interesting. Okay, anyway. And they ate their rations which Pharaoh gave them. Therefore, they did not sell their lands. And the church coming up, that this is a thing that they steal out of the well, this is a thing that's transferred. Okay, anyway. Then Joseph said to the people, "Indeed, I have bought you and your land this day for Pharaoh. Look, there is seed for you. You shall sow the land, and it will come to pass in the harvest that you shall give 1/5 to Pharaoh. 4/5 is your own as seed for the field and for your food." So they said, "You have saved our lives. Let us find favor in the sight of you, and we will be Pharaoh's servants." And Joe made it a law over the land of Egypt to this day that Pharaoh should have 1/5, except for the land of the priests only, which did not become Pharaoh's. Interesting. So Israel, Jake, dwelt in the land of Egypt in the country of Goshen, and they had possession there, and grew and multiplied exceedingly. And Jake lived in the land. Wait. And Jake lived in the land of Egypt 17 years. He lived 147 years. When the time drew near that he must die, he called Joe and said to him, "Now, if I have found favor in your sight, please put your hand under my thigh and deal kindly and truly with me. Please do not bury me in Egypt, but let me lie with my fathers. You will carry me out of Egypt and bury me in their burial place." And he said, "I'll do as you said." Then he said, "Fucking swear." And Jake was like, "I fucking swear." Okay. So Jake he bowed himself on the bed and he died. Interesting. I want to thank everybody for watching. I want to remind you, press like and subscribe. We're going on to chapter 48. The rules of chatter. Do not be a party pooper. Please come and interact. It'll be good time. I talk back. It may take a few seconds for me to answer you back because apparently the delay is real. And there should be people coming here soon. Miss Muddy, my cousin, maybe the drunken wizard. Not sure. Now, we're in chapter 48. Man, 35 minutes. You know what? I have to pee. I do have to pee. So I'm going to turn on some music and we will be right back. All right, here we go. Chapter 48. Now, it came to pass after these things, Joseph was told, your father is sick. Hold on. Wait a minute. So he made Joseph swear that he would bury him outside of Egypt in some place, right? And then Israel bowed himself on the head of the bed. Okay. And then chapter 48, it says, now it came to pass after these things, Joe was told, your father is sick. Okay. Anyway, and he took with him his two sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. And Jake was told, Look, Joe is coming to you. So Israel strengthened himself and sat up on the bed. Then Jacob said to Joseph, God Almighty appeared to me at night. God Almighty appeared to me at Luz in the land of Canaan and blessed me and said to me, I will make you fruitful and multiply you, and I will make of you a multitude of people and give this land to your descendants after you as an everlasting possession. And now your two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, who were born to you in the land of Egypt before I came to you, are mine, as Reuben and Simeon. They shall be mine. Your offspring, whom you beget after them, will be yours. They will be called by the name of their brothers in their inheritance. But as for me, when I came from Padan, Rachel died beside me in the land of Canaan on the way, when there was but a little distance to go to Ephrath. I buried her there on the way to Ephrath, that is Bethlehem, also Zion. Then Israel saw Joseph's son and said, who are these? And Joe said, this is Manasseh and Ephraim. And he said, bring them to me and I will bless them. Now, the eyes of Israel were dim with age, so he could not see. Then Joseph brought them near and he kissed them and embraced them. And then Israel said to Joe, I had not thought to see, I didn't think I would see your face, but in fact, God has shown me your offspring. We have a good time. Yeah, a good time. Okay. So Joe brought them from beside his knees and he bowed down he did the face thing. And Joe took them both, Ephraim with his right hand toward Israel's left, and Manasseh with his left towards Israel's right. And he brought them near, and Israel stretched out his right hand and laid it on Ephraim's head, who was the younger, and his left hand on Manasseh, guiding his hands knowingly, for Manasseh was the firstborn. He blessed Joe and said, what? So Joe brought them from beside his knees, and he did the face thing. And Joe took them both, Ephraim with his right hand toward Jake's left hand, and Manasseh with his left towards Jake's right. And he brought them near. Then Jake stretched out his hand and laid it on Ephraim's head, who was the younger, and his left hand on Manasseh's head, guiding his hands knowingly, for Manasseh was the firstborn. And okay. And then he blessed Joseph and said, God, before whom my fathers Abe and Isaac walked, the God who has fed me all my life to this day, the angel who has redeemed me from evil, bless the lads. Let my name be named on them, and the name of my fathers, Abe and Isaac, and let them grow into a multitude in the midst of the earth. Okay. Now, when Joe saw that his father laid his right hand on Ephraim, it displeased him. So he took his father's hand to remove it. to Manasseh. And Joe said to his father, no, no, no. He's not the firstborn. No, but Jake was like, shut the fuck up. I know what I'm doing, dude. Shut up. He also shall become a people. He also shall be great. But truly, his younger brother is greater than him, and his descendants will become nations. So he blessed them that day, saying, by you. Oh, it's time to take my pills. It's time to take your pills. My dad's gonna call. Dad,
Good
don't
evening,
call. I'm
Nick.
like,
The time is 9 p.m. What's brown and sticky? A stick. Have a great day.
that is the best joke. Anyway. So he blessed them that day, saying, by you, Israel will bless, saying, may God make you as Ephraim and as Manasseh. And thus he set Ephraim before Manasseh. Then Israel said to Joe, behold, I am dying, but God will be with you and bring you back to the land of your fathers. Moreover, I have given to you one portion above your brothers, which I took from the hand of the Amorite with my sword and my bow. Dun dun dun. It's intense. Man. It's gonna be a long it's so long. Okay. We're gonna read it. 49. And Jacob called his sons and said, gather together that I may tell you what shall befall you in the last days. Dun dun dun. Here we go. Gather together and hear, you sons of Jacob, and listen to Israel your father. Reuben, you are my firstborn, my might and the beginning of my strength, the excellency of dignity and the excellency of power. Unstable as water, you shall not excel, because you went up to your father's bed and then you defiled it. He went up to my couch. Simeon and Levi are brothers. Instruments of cruelty are in their dwelling place. Let not my soul enter their council. Let not my honor be united to their assembly. For in their anger they slew men, and in their self-willing they hamstrung ox, all kinds of animals. Cursed be their anger, for it is fierce, and their wrath, for it is cruel. I will divide them in Jacob and scatter them in Israel. Okay. Judah, you are him who your brothers shall praise. Your hand shall be on the neck of your enemies. Your father's children shall bow down before you. Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, you have gone up. He bows down, he lies down as a lion, and as a lion who shall rouse him. The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh comes, and to him shall be the obedience of the people, binding his donkey to the vine, and his donkey's colt to the choice vine. He washed his garments in wine, and his clothes in the blood of grapes. His eyes are darker than wine, and his teeth are whiter than milk. Zebulun shall dwell by the haven of the sea. He shall become a haven for ships, and his borders shall adjoin Sidon. Issachar is a strong donkey, laying down between two burdens. He saw that rest was good and that the land was pleasant. He bowed his shoulder to bear a burden and became a band of slaves. Dan shall judge his people as one of the tribes of the vampires. Dan shall be a serpent by the way, a viper by the path that bites horses' heels, so that its rider shall fall backward. For I have waited for your salvation, O Lord. Gad, a troop shall trample on him, but he shall triumph. Bread from Asher shall be rich, and it shall yield royal dainties. Naphtali is a deer let loose. He uses beautiful words. Joe is a fruitful bow, a fruited bow by a well. His branches run over the wall. His archers have bitterly grieved him, shot at him, and hated him. But his bow remained in strength, and the arms of his hands were made strong by the hands of the mighty God of Jacob. From there is the shepherd, the stone of Israel, by the God of your fathers who will help you, and by the Almighty who will bless you with blessings of heaven above, blessings of the deep that lies beneath, blessings of the breast and of the womb, blessings of your father have excelled the blessings of my ancestors up to the utmost ground of the everlasting hills. They shall be on the head of Joseph and on the crown of the head of him who was separate from his brothers. Ben is a ravenous wolf. He's the 1%. Ben is a ravenous wolf. In the morning he shall devour the prey, and at night he shall divide the spoil. Dot, dot, dot. Okay. All these things are the 12 tribes of Israel. And this is what their father spoke to them, and he blessed them. He blessed each one according to his own blessing. Then he charged them and said, I am to be gathered to my people. Bury me with my fathers in the cave that I have in the field of Ephraim, and the cave that is in the field of Machpelah, which is before Mamre in the land of Canaan, which Abe bought with the field of Ephraim the Hittite as a possession, as a burial place. There they buried Abe and Sarah. There they buried Isaac and Becca. And there I want to be buried. Oh, and there I buried Leah. The field and the cave that is there were purchased. And when Jacob had finished commanding his sons, he drew his feet up on the bed and breathed his last and was gathered to his people. Dun, 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 dun. So if you were here, I want to welcome you. I want to say, feel free to join the chat. It is really easy. I talk back occasionally. And we are literally on the last chapter of this book right now. We are about to finish this book. Almost in an exact hour. Okay. So, let's see. Then Joe fell on his father's face and wept over him and kissed him. And Joe commanded his servants and the physicians to embalm his father. So they did. 40 days were required for him, for such are the days required for those who are embalmed. And the Egyptians mourned for him 70 days. Now, when the days of mourning were past, Joe spoke to the household of Pharaoh, saying, can I go bury my dad over, like, my dad wants to be buried like 8,000 miles away. So, do you mind if we go like 8,000 miles away to bury my dad, please? And Pharaoh said, go ahead. So, so my cats are messing with us, and I'm sorry, it's so funny. So Joe went up to bury his father, and with him all the servants of Pharaoh, the elders, and everybody went, as well as the house of Joe and all of his brothers. Only their little ones, their flocks, and their herds they left at Goshen. And there they went up with him, both chariots and horsemen. It was a very great gathering. Then they came to the threshing floor of Arad, which is beyond the Jordan, and they mourned there with a great and very solemn lamentation. He observed 7 days of mourning for his father. And when the inhabitants of the land, the Canaanites, saw the mourning at the threshing floor, they said, oh man, this guy, this must have been some kind of guy. So his sons did for him just as he had said, for his sons carried him 8,000 fucking miles away to bury him. Then Joe's brothers saw that their father was dead, and they said, okay, now Joe's gonna hate us. Now Joe's gonna hate us, so we have to figure out a way to save our lives right now. Man, what are we gonna do? I got it. I got it. We'll say our dad's dying wish was, please don't hurt your brothers. Even though Jake never knew what really happened to Joe, but they're going to pretend like he did. And they're going to be like, Dad said, don't hate us. Okay. Mm. And then they said that to him, and Joseph wept. Then his brothers also went and did the face thing, and they said, look, please. And he was like, look, I don't even care about any of that anymore. And you guys were trying to be an asshole, but I was like, fuck you. So, fuck you. You're fine. It's cool. So Joe dwelt in Egypt, he and all of his father's house, and Joe lived 110 years. Joe saw Ephraim's children to the third generation. The son of Manasseh were also brought up on Joseph's knees. And Joe said to his brothers, I am dying, but surely God will visit you and bring you out of this land to the land that he swore Abe, Isaac, and Jake. Then Joe took an oath from them, saying, God will surely visit you, and you will carry my bones from here. So Joe died, being 110 years old, and they embalmed him, and he was put in a coffin in Egypt. Dun, dun, dun. So that's the end of that book. Literally an hour. So we literally just finished that book. So let's do this. right? Party pen is live. Damn it. That means I'm gonna have to make a new one tomorrow. Bam. Oh shit. What's happening? I'm doing things and I don't even know. I'm in love with the baby and I don't even know your name. There you go. Now, is it changing on your guys' thing? I don't know. Maybe let's find out. Yeah, it did change. Cool. Okay. Anyway, I want to thank all of you for watching. I want to tell you, don't forget to like and subscribe. But it is time to give the pillows some head, the sheets some ass, and have the sweetest dreams ever. I love you so